When you think of billionaires, what comes to your mind? A whole lot of money? Access to any and everything money can buy? A highly protected group or class? All true. But regardless of how deep their bank accounts go, they are not immune to the law and the consequences of breaking it. That's the one thing I know we all have in common. So in this video, we'll be counting down 10 of the most famous mugshots from billionaires, and a few others too. Let's get right into it. 10th, Bill Gates. Starting our countdown at number 10 with a surprising entry from Bill Gates, the Microsoft founder and philanthropist who's worth $113 billion. Just 2 years after Microsoft was founded in 1975, Gates was charged with a traffic violation in Albuquerque, New Mexico, after he got a speeding ticket and forgot his license. 9th, Richard Liu. This Chinese billionaire and founder of JD.com, an e-commerce firm, was arrested in Minnesota in 2018 on charges of sexual misconduct. According to Forbes, Richard Liu has a net worth of $7.9 billion. 8. Justin Bieber. Although not a billionaire, Justin Bieber has one of the most famous mugshots of all time after he was arrested in 2014 alongside singer Khalil. His offense? Resisting arrest and driving under the influence of alcohol. Bieber, who was at the time a young pop sensation with a lot of female believers, as his fans were called, saw his mugshot draw a lot of attention, making him an honorable mention on this list. 7. Jim Irsay. When he was 54 years old in 2014, American businessman and owner of NFL club Indianapolis Colts, Jim Irsay, was arrested on charges for driving under the influence. According to a source's account, Irsay's arrest was as a result of mixing medications and then driving erratically along Horse Ferry Road before he was stopped by the police. Irsay has a net worth of $3.9 billion. 6. Bernard Lawrence Madoff, aka Bernie Madoff. A quick Google search on Madoff's net worth will show you this description. Bernard Lawrence Madoff, April 29, 1938 to April 14, 2021, was an American fraudster and financier who was the mastermind of the largest Ponzi scheme in history, worth about $64.8 billion. The billionaire fraudster who pleaded guilty to an almost $65 billion investment scam in 2009 has one of the most famous mugshots because it lacked the sickening smirk he had come to be known for. According to an article by the New York Post, this mugshot is no smug shot. 5. Marilyn Monroe. Not a billionaire, but she has one of the most famous mugshots of all time. A mugshot that many have referred to as stunning, and that is surprisingly also available for sale on Amazon, Etsy, and a couple other online marketplaces. She was arrested in 1954 for driving too slow and without her license. There's a popular joke from Ms. Monroe's arrest, although not confirmed if real, which goes like Marilyn asking the officer who stopped her if he doesn't know who she is because she's famous, and he replies saying, "No ma'am, I don't, because you are driving without a license." 4. Allen Stanford. Born Robert Allen Stanford, he was one of the richest men in America at his peak in 2008, and also listed on the Forbes 400 with an estimated worth of $2.2 billion. Today, though, he's serving a 110-year prison sentence for operating a Ponzi scheme, the second largest after the Madoff scheme. His mugshot is one of the most famous ones on this list because of how invested people were in his arrest and trial since he had scammed a lot of people. For many, this mugshot was one step towards victory. After his sentencing, he was required to pay about $5.9 billion to victims of his crimes. 3. Al Capone, now the top 3 most famous mugshots. And we're starting with Al Capone, the notorious gangster who at his peak had a net worth of $100 million, which today is about $1.5 billion, making him an honorary member of this list. Capone's 1931 mugshot stands as an icon of the Prohibition era and organized crime after he was arrested on multiple charges. His 1932 arrest for tax evasion was what finally put him away for the next 7 years, where he struggled with syphilis, gonorrhea, and cocaine withdrawal. 2. Jeremy Meeks. Ever heard of Hot Mugshot Guy? Or Jail Bayee? Or the Blue-Eyed Bandit? Yeah, that's Jeremy Meeks. Certainly not a billionaire, but a convicted felon with one of the most famous mugshots in the internet era ever. Meeks has a history of crime after getting arrested in 2002 at the age of 18 for robbery and violently assaulting a 16-year-old boy. After taking a plea deal, he was sentenced to 2 years in jail, but ended up spending 9 years. In 2014, years after his release, Meeks was again arrested for gun possession and resisting arrest. This was the arrest that saw his mugshots spread round social media and gain him the attention of a lot of female fans who nicknamed him Jail Bae and all sorts. Meeks' mugshots were so influential that following his release in 2016, he was immediately signed by a modeling agency. He's now a successful model walking for big fashion houses. 1. Donald Trump. Finally at number 1, and it's no other than the only ever convicted president of the United States, Donald Trump. He is the first president in the history of the United States to have a mugshot. The politician and businessman worth $2.5 billion according to Forbes was charged on a consultation to overturn the 2020 presidential elections in Georgia. He is facing 13 separate counts in Georgia, including racketeering, 3 counts of criminal solicitation, 6 counts of criminal conspiracy, 2 counts of making false statements, amongst others. Before the release of his mugshot, there were already tweets from several people excitedly anticipating it. And after the release by Trump himself, after he posted it on his Twitter account with a link to his campaign website, it has gathered a lot of attention, unsurprisingly, making it one of the most famous mugshots of the decade and our number 1. Elon Musk, current CEO of Twitter, even responded to the mugshot, calling it next level. There you have it, 10 of the most famous billionaire and celebrity mugshots of all time. Have any others you think should have made this list? Let me know. Stay safe and out of trouble.